practices of adolescent girls with intellectual disability carried out in 3 districts of Tamil Nadu. So I will share my screen now for the presentation. Hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the topic of the study which has been carried out is about the menstrual profile status of adolescent girls with intellectual disability in inclusive setup and exploratory analysis. So in this presentation, I'm going to present about the background of the study, objectives, methodologies followed, findings in the analysis of the study. So we discuss about this menstrual health management practices. Accidentally, May 28th of this year happened to be Menstrual Health Management Day, which has been observed worldwide. And the theme for this year is 2024 years together for a period-friendly world. So that Menstrual Health Day was observed on May 20th. That is 2 days previously. So, and in that context, really, I am very happy to present this study on this particular month. And when we talk about menstrual health management practices, it is very closely related to and connected with the reproductive health. And majority of the women, they don't take much care on reproductive health. And particularly this menstrual health management practices and particularly maintaining sanitation over that period, they didn't mind at all. So keeping that in mind, when this happens with general women population, what may be the status of girls with intellectual disability? That only initiated to take up this study, and approximately half of the global female population, that is around 26% of women population are of reproductive age, according to UNICEF in the year 2018. Why? Because this study was conducted in the year 2020. So I'm quoting this particular statistics related to that age. And in India, around 22.2% of total population among the women population are of reproductive age. And this reproductive health, as I said before, it plays very crucial role in relation to the menstrual health management practices, and menstrual health cycle plays a very critical factor in the reproductive progress of a woman. And it has its association with both the physiological and psychological maturity of a girl. So meeting the hygiene practices of adolescent girls becomes the very fundamental right of women to live with dignity and related to public health. So this holds good with the girls and the womenhood. But when we discuss about or when we think about adolescent girls with intellectual disability, they have less coping strategies to handle with the periods and have difficulties in following the healthy management practices that needs to be followed during that period. And these issues may arise in learning skills related to the menarche, such as understanding about what is menstruation and how it will happen, what will be the process of the menstrual cycle and the process related to it, and the procedures to handle that menstruation process, like usage of sanitary pad, how to dispose it, and when to change, and all those things. And during the menstrual cycle, how to make use of the toilet, how to have an appropriate social behavior. This becomes a very big practice, and particularly when we discuss all these issues in an inclusive setup, it becomes very, very difficult for girls with intellectual disability. Actually, I have conducted this study like in special school, inclusive school, and for home-based children. But as this particular forum is related to inclusive setup, I have taken a portion of the study which has been related to this inclusive setup, and I am presenting only that particular portion. So in inclusive setup, children, that is adolescent girls with intellectual disability, have much more difficulty in following the healthy management practices during their menstrual cycle. And as we have discussed previously, like girls have very inadequate education on menstruation, and this is not only for adolescent girls with intellectual disability. Even the general adolescent girl population also have a very inadequate education nowadays. In schools, colleges, etc., they follow giving premenstrual education, and how they before, like after the primary school, they used to have classes to educate about the menstrual practices and the occurrence of menstruation, how to handle that, how to communicate it to your elders or to your peers, and to make use and how to handle that. All these sort of education, or even being initiated in all the schools. I mean, I talk only about the state of Tamil Nadu in India. That practice is being followed here. And even though government initiate all such practices, and all that are being followed in all the schools, maybe public schools as well as the private schools, still there is very less awareness about about menstruation among the adolescent girls, general adolescent girls population. And this holds the same for adolescent girls with intellectual disability also. And particularly, they have difficulties in following up the sanitation practices during menstruation due to their less cognitive functioning and personal adaptive skills. So this only initiated to take up this study, and the main purpose of this study is to study about the menstrual profile and health management practice followed by adolescent girls with intellectual disabilities in Tamil Nadu. And related to this study, literature in the area of menstrual issues and practices of adolescent girls, menstrual health management practices, and menstrual issues of girls and women with disabilities were studied. And the findings of the literature, it resulted in identification of stigma and lack of information exist in the general scenario. And there is lack of access to sanitary napkins and menstrual observance among the population. And also, like they have lacuna in safe disposal facilities and lack of sanitation facilities. And moreover, high proportion of adolescent girls, they suffer from different gynecological problems. So these were the findings of the literature which has been reviewed. Based on that, the objectives were designed as to explore about the nature of menstrual profile of adolescent girls with intellectual disability, and to explore upon the existing status of menstrual health management practices of adolescent girls with intellectual disability. So the methodology followed to carry out the studies, the research design adapted was a survey design. And this study has been conducted among 105 adolescent girls with intellectual disability in the age range of 13 to 19 years, studying in inclusive setup from the districts of Madurai, Tiruchirappalli, and Sivakasi of Tamil Nadu state. And the tool was designed with the portions, like the first portion will study about the menstrual profile of the adolescent girls with intellectual disability, along with the amenities that are available in the school and as well as the home to manage the menstrual process. And the part 2, it studied about the personal and the menstrual hygiene practices followed by adolescent girls with intellectual disability during their menstruation. And the workflow of the study has been spread like this, we have divided that into 5 phases. That is, in phase 1, we have identified a sample from Madurai, Sivagasi and Tiruchirappalli district. And in phase 2, tool was developed. And as I have mentioned earlier, the section 1, it studied about the basic information and basic amenities at home and the menstrual profile of the sample. And section 2, it studied about the basic awareness that exists among the sample about menstruation. And section 3, it dealt with the personal and the menstrual hygiene management practices followed by them. And section 4, it studied about the menstrual problems that they encountered with like before menstruation as well as post menstruation. So like this, in 5 or 4 sections, the tool has been developed. And in phase 3, based on this, the data has been collected. And while collecting the data, the samples were directly, we met the samples, we collected data from them. And to many of the questions, the adolescent girls, they were not able to answer on their own. They were dependent on their either mother or caretaker. So majority of the information has been provided by either by the mother or the caretaker. And these adolescent girls with intellectual disability, they could only answer to few questions independently. And data analysis, we carried out percentage analysis and correlation. And the 5th phase, report writing has been carried out. So this is the spread of the workflow of this study. And based on the set objectives, the following research questions were framed to answer the objectives. So when we studied about the nature of menstrual profile of adolescent girls with intellectual disability, it is found that 85% of the selected sample have regularity of menstruation, and 91% of them have duration of the flow for 3 to 5 days along with their length of menstrual cycle. And majority of them, that is 90% of them, they use sanitary pad as their absorbent. And 60% of them use 2 to 5 sanitary pad per day. So here, why we have said this is like in order to check whether they follow hygiene menstrual practices, or whether they have awareness about when to change, like the duration, the duration of the flow, based on the duration of the flow, and this thing, like how healthy and hygiene they are. In order to check that, we have asked this question, how many times you will change that absorbent. So only 60% of them were properly following that practice. And followed that in to find out the existing status of menstrual health practices followed by adolescent girls with intellectual disability. These the following research questions have been framed. And the first question, related to the existing status of menstrual health management practice. The first was to find out whether they have basic awareness about menstruation. So among the selected sample, 36% of them only have awareness about menstruation, and 33% they don't have awareness at all, and 31% of them have only partial awareness about the menstruation. And the second question related to the existing menstrual practices about the personal menstrual hygiene practices adopted by adolescent girls with intellectual disability. So in this area, we studied about the personal hygiene maintained during menstruation, then toilet usage during menstruation, then frequency of changing absorbent, and the practices which they follow in washing and drying of undergarments, and the method of absorbent disposal. So in this, 69.6% of them averagely follow menstrual hygiene, and 9.5% have very poor personal hygiene. And the toilet usage, like 47.7% use toilet once in 2 hours, whereas 2.9% use toilet once in 1 hour. And they change absorbent, like 3 hours once, 56.1% of the sample change absorbent, whereas every 1 hour, 2.9% of the sample they change their absorbent. And washing and drying of their undergarments, like 56.1% of the sample they always wash and dry on their own. And the other sample, they 13.3, they never wash and dry their undergarments. And majority of the disposal system followed as throwing the absorbent in the dustbin, that is 72.4%, they throw their absorbent in the dustbin. So like as overall, the finding of the personal menstrual hygiene practice indicate that 69% of the sample maintain average menstrual hygiene, and 47% of the sample use toilet once in 2 hours during menstruation, and 56% of the sample they change absorbent once in 3 hours during menstruation. And related to the hygiene practices, 56% of the sample wash and dry their undergarments, and 72% of them dispose absorbent in dustbin, and 13.7% burn their absorbent. And the next research question is, we studied about the common menstrual problems among adolescent girls with intellectual disability. And the finding indicate that 61% of the sample, they don't have any disorder during the menstrual period, and like very few have premenstrual syndrome, like 2.9%, and amenorrhea, whereas the oligomenorrhea and dysmenorrhea exist among 13.3 and 15.2 respectively. And 4.7% of the population, they have uterine bleeding. So the finding indicate that majority of the sample, they don't have any disorder during their menstruation. And here, like majority of the sample, except for only few, that too under home-based setting, majority of the sample were directly asked about these conditions, whether you have this problem or not. So majority of the sample, they directly opined that they have this problem. So based on that, and here we have not considered the inputs from the parents. Why? Because like it is not like considering, we heard their opinion, but when compared to their opinion, we considered only the opinion of the adolescent girls for calculation. Why? Because we directly met them, we inquired them, we had a casual talk with them and tried to find out whether they have a problem or not. Why? Because the review study stated that majority of the adolescent girls have gynecological problems. So in order to find out that, we had direct talk with the sample and tried to find out that. And the final research question, it studied the relationship between basic awareness about menstruation and personal menstrual hygiene practice among adolescent girls with intellectual disability. And the finding indicate that there exists a strong correlation between basic awareness about menstruation in maintaining the menstrual personal hygiene among adolescent girls with intellectual disability. And the key observations of this study is, like a majority of the study participants' house have basic amenities like separate bathroom and adequate water facility, which is really a welcoming factor. Why? Because these sample have adequate facilities for maintaining a health and hygienic practice and to maintain sanitation at their home. But when we consider the facilities available at school, yes, there exist sanitation facilities at the school, but they are not inclusive. So these children with intellectual disability, they have problems in usage of toilet and and to follow other sanitation practices at school. So they used to skip school during their menstruation. So this was observed in the study as far as inclusive schools are considered. But the same scenario was not so in case of special school. So there they have maybe they have attendance to take care of during this menstrual period available at school. So those children, they didn't face this much of disturbance and as well as difficulties when compared to the inclusive school. This may be the reason for that. And since the sanitation facilities are not inclusive, these children with intellectual disability, they face problem in attending school during their menstrual period. And when the study was conducted, sanitary napkin vending machine and incinerators were not available in schools. Even though it was available in schools, the schools where we conducted study, in that schools, sanitary napkin vending machine and incinerators were not available in schools. But when we followed up, the government of Tamil Nadu has initiated to install the sanitary napkin vending machine and incinerators in 1,896 government high schools and 1,438 higher secondary schools across Tamil Nadu. And now, almost all the schools have sanitary napkin vending machine and incinerators. And when the study was conducted, when we studied about the peer support which these sample get from their school, it was very minimal. So actually, these sample didn't disclose about their difficulties, etc., to their peer, and their peer groups, they didn't know like whether to help or not, or how to handle with these type of things and how to support them. So it was very minimal when the study was conducted. And the study had this recommendations like initiatives to provide training for parents and caretakers of adolescent girls with intellectual disability, and awareness program, workshop, and seminar to disseminate strategies to handle the menstrual health management practices to meet the unique needs of adolescent girls with intellectual disability. And sanitary napkin vending machines and incinerators are to be set up in schools and public places, and that has to be mandated as part of inclusive practice. And peer tutoring and assistance will be of much appreciation for importing healthy menstrual management practices. And in general, continuing rehabilitation education programs related to this can be initiated to import the importance of menstrual health management practices that has to be taught to adolescent girls with intellectual disability, and the various strategies. And here, we were able to conduct this study by all the awareness programs which we carried out after the study. We included a sanitary pad manufacturing company, and they came along with us for all the awareness programs. and they explained about the various health management practices that needs to be followed out during the menstrual period. And they really demonstrated how to use it, how to dispose it, every other aspect of using up to disposal. They demonstrated it to the students and to the parents. So there are companies such like that existing, which we can make use of for importing our awareness program. And they provided free sanitary observance, as well as they have informed that for these children we can make available the sanitary pad observance at minimal cost at schools. So we can make use of this community support also for maintaining the healthy management practices. And in conclusion, and according to this study, menstrual profile of adolescent girls with intellectual disability is similar to that of other girls of same age, and no any other difference has been observed. And menstrual health management practices need to be improved through awareness and training programs to parents, including children with intellectual disability, and various stakeholders who handle or who come across these adolescent girls with intellectual disability. And earnest efforts has to be taken care of to make adolescent girls with intellectual disability follow healthy management practice during their menstruation. And need steps to be taken to determine the best intervention approach that needs to be followed in different contexts and according to the unique needs of adolescent girls with intellectual disability. And followed by this study, awareness program has been conducted in all the schools where we have conducted the study. Along with the community support, the awareness has been given to the adolescent girls with intellectual disability in separate session, and to parents and to teachers. And this has been conducted through pamphlets, by displaying the posters all over in the schools, and particularly a visual pamphlet indicating what has to be done during the period in the toilets to make the students to understand, and a booklet, a pictorial booklet representing what needs to be done as soon as you identify a period. So that visual booklet also has been distributed to the students who took part in our study. And also the booklet has been distributed to the parents as well as the school authorities. And the follow-up study has been conducted after 6 months, and we observed that absenteeism has been reduced after this awareness program, and extended peer support has been observed. Why? Because previously they didn't know like how to help their friends or so. After this awareness, they were interested and they came forward to extend their support. And maintaining personal hygiene during menstruation is of extreme importance for any woman, and that holds good for adolescent girls with intellectual disability also. So like to create an inclusive society, it is very, very important to address this particular area. Why? Because adolescent girls with intellectual disability, they skip schools just because like they have difficulty in maintaining the health and hygienic practice during school time, and they face difficulties to handle the situation. So what the parents, they don't want to accompany their students due to their personal things. So what is the simple solution? Just to skip school. So they follow that, and many of them, they miss school during their period. So that has to be overcome to make this inclusive society. And also this in public places also to set up the sanitary pad vending machine and incinerators becomes very, very important. Why? Because these children, only if they're taught to make use of that, they can easily handle the situation even in public places if we teach them properly. And these are the references. And I deeply acknowledge Indian Council of Social Science Research, Southern Regional Center, Hyderabad, for funding us to conduct this study. And thank you so much. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Devi, for the most enlightening talk on a subject which I'm sure it's about. Obviously conducted a very worthwhile study there, and I do hope that your findings will be widely disseminated and will be effectively used there in India and maybe even further afield. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to open the floor for questions. So if you have a question, if you could raise your hand, please, so that we can see who's there. Who'd like to start off for us?
Mr. Karupsamy and Maitreyi have raised hands.
Right, I can't see their hands. Okay, right, okay. So Maitreyi, would you like to open for us, please?
Hi, hello, Dr. Renuga. Thank you for your very informative talk. I myself work with children and young adults with sensory and complex needs. I was just wondering, what is when you did your study, what is the existing support from teachers and teaching assistants for girls with menstrual problems and those who find it challenging?
Okay. So, Madam, actually, here I would like to say that particularly the teachers, and here in inclusive setup, actually, you know the scenario. Is it not? The teachers only have to handle adolescent girls. Is it not? So actually, it is not that teachers they were hesitant to help and all, but due to the existing situation in the school, they were not able to do it in to the fullest. Why? Because here mainly in majority of the schools, they don't have proper assistance to help teachers in all these things. The whole school will have either one or two health assistant to help them. So if these students have problems, or if the teacher is particularly not present in the class during that particular, say for example, for 1 hour or 2 hours, it becomes difficult for the children. That also we have observed. So here, that is the biggest challenge the teachers face. They were not fully able to give their fullest support to children during that period. That is why these children, they refrain themselves from schools and stay at home. That is the biggest challenge, number one. And we do not have adequate assistance to help these children. That is why we depend upon peer support. So peers, when they were educated, like this is how you have to help your friend, they clearly followed our instructions and they came forward to help their friends. So this is how we have to manage, and the challenge exists in inclusive school. Why? Because we don't have enough manpower in inclusive school to give individual attention for our adolescent girls with intellectual disability, like special school.
Okay, okay, I understand.
If you are not clear, you can come again. I will try to answer.
Yeah, I understand. So there is a shortage of staff, and that's
Yeah.
why there is this reliance on
Yes,
peers.
that
Yeah.
that is and also like about the inclusive schools of our country, how it function and all. So shortage of manpower is a very big problem.
Is there reliance on the ancillary staff?
Pardon?
Um, like say the ayahs or
That is
uh,
what ayahs are also very limited, madam. So there
okay.
will be either one, maximum of the schools had only one ayah. So like they will not one they see there they will have particularly high schools and higher secondary schools, they will have children right from age 6 to 18, is it not? So one single ayah has to attend to all health needs of children who are in that school. So like they have that difficulty. So if that this particular, see, many of the schools have only either one or two adolescent girls with intellectual disabilities, not that schools have 4 or 5 children. So this particular ayah will not be able to give attention to only this particular child always. So an information regarding this particular issue has to reach that ayah, and that ayah should be readily available to come and address to the child. And moreover, here these ayahs are made use for this midday meal scheme also. So they have to take care of that also. So handling all these issues by one single person is difficult. So if manpower is increased, or if we train peer training or whatever manpower training is possible, if we give that particular input to handle this issue, then that will be of helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So, and there like lesson plans which visually and pictorially depict for the help of students who are struggling with okay, how do I put the pad on? So,
Yes,
are there lesson plans?
yes, we have given visual booklet to the children who participated in the study, and also we have pasted posters in toilets and also in classroom for the children to understand what has to be done if they recognize a period.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
May I just add to the question of Maitri on why the children stay home during this period? In addition to what Renuka said, Renuka, it was a wonderful presentation, very revealing. And continue with it in terms of intervention also. Finding out the statistics is just like thermometer saying this is the fever. Intervention is the one that becomes prescription. So we need to do that. Coming back to Maitreyi, just Richard, if you'd permit me, I would just add that one line, why children stay home during periods. Many a time, based on my experience dealing with girls and their parents all through these years, many parents choose to keep them at home for the reason that the girl may stain her clothes and it can cause embarrassment, and they don't want that happening in school environment. So even if the girl is confident to go to school, I have seen that the girls will manage, Amma, don't worry, all that the girls would say. But then the mothers are very reluctant to send for the fear of the kids getting their clothes stained, causing embarrassment to themselves and to others. This I find as a major reason for children staying home rather than the school's facilities. Even international schools with all the facilities available there to take care of these children, these girls during those days, the parents are reluctant to send them to school. This is my observation in these years, Maitreyi. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I understand, yes.
Thank you, Janti. We have Dr. Karupasamy has a question, I believe. Would you like to come in, please, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Nicely wonderful presentations for your presentations, ma'am. Ma'am, one question for me. I doubt, see, Ma'am, it is a rural urban area. We have to do the inclusive education program for awareness and creation for the children and peer tutoring. All those is possible. What about in the rural area? How we can give the awareness for the children with intellectual disability and especially peer tutoring? How is possible for in the rural area?
Sir, why we have conducted the study both in all these schools. We have taken that particular demographic variable also, rural and urban. And why I have not mentioned that is no specific difference was observed among rural and urban population as far as this is concerned. In that way, I can proudly say that the health aspect of the Tamil Nadu state is very high, that even rural region population also, they all are aware of all the sanitary observant things, and they know about how to use that and how to dispose and all those things. So we didn't find any major difference between rural and urban population. That is why I didn't mention that. And as for us, the awareness is concerned, sir, then as far as our study is conducted, when we visited rural and the urban school related to this menstrual health management practice, we didn't find any difference in rural and urban area. Both were receptive, and the awareness material, since we used visuals mainly, we didn't find any difference, sir, in rural and urban area.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
They were equally recipient.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one more suggestion. Ma'am,
Yes,
it is
sir.
children, usually children with intellectual disability are children. Mostly the learning process will be backlog. So if anything, we are giving the visual clues or auditory clues, some other kinetics clues, and we are using in a VAKT format also. We have to children teach in a personal hygiene. The children have to take and learn and adapted is very difficult for the time of in the menstruation period. Usually, generally, the time is the cycle time is many frustrations and many anxiety will be happen. Problem behavior will be changed the children. So, how this time the children can adapt and do themselves? It is are any model and adaptive assisted training you are giving for the children?
Sir, in this study we have not done, sir, but we have a proposal that nowadays we use technology a lot, isn't it, sir? So
Yeah.
a technology, an app indicating that we used to teach, no, sir, menstrual cycle will happen in this period, you have to indicate that in calendar, and you have to be ready and all those things. So like that, if we have an app to assist the child, nowadays majority of the homes have Android phones at least, is it not, sir? So if we happen to have an app helping the child to indicate you have to be aware of your period, you have to get ready, and on the as soon as you recognize, you have to practice this and all, maybe technology may help. So we have not conducted, as Dr. Jayanti ma'am has rightly pointed out, we have just found out this is what is the statistics, that's all. We have not done any intervention. We have just conducted an awareness out of even the study objective is not to conduct an awareness program based on the observation. We conducted an awareness program to the parents, teachers, and also peer group, and also for adolescent girls with intellectual disability out of our own interest. So we have not undertaken any intervention. Maybe in future, we happen to get a chance, maybe we have an idea of associating technology to teach these children to become self-reliant and independent, particularly related to menstrual hygiene management practices.
One more, ma'am. I want to recommendations. Only one. Your recommendations. You have to hygiene. We are teaching the children for good touch, bad touch, and good habits, bad habits. So that time also we have to teach for the children in how to
Yes.
girl children for how to maintain the personal hygiene for including in the recommendations. Your CRE
Yes.
points also there, but people
Yes,
only
sir.
for teaching hygiene and menstruations. But because the puberty, the girl is support the puberty attend, then only we started the napkin using all those things. Before that, we have to teach how to. We can teach early childhood period or early adolescent period. How to we teach good touch, bad touch. Same time, we have to teach for children with intellectual disability, especially for the girls. We have to add the how to use the personal hygiene and how to spot it and how to intimate it. This also we have to add for the recommendations. Thank you, ma'am. Wonderful presentations and wonderful
Thank you,
study.
sir.
And
I will just add up one thing to your suggestion, sir.
thank you, ma'am.
There is, yes, all the schools in Tamil Nadu, they have this education program, like how to, what has to be done as soon as you recognize your first period and what needs to be done, how to communicate it to your elders, how to take support, all those things. They are teaching in general, not specifically to adolescent girls with intellectual disability. In general, they have such program, but that needs to be extended to our children also, like how to handle that situation. So if that program is extended to our children, definitely your suggestion will be taken care of, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for an interesting question. We have Lakshmi Narayana Nagaseti has been waiting very patiently to ask a question. Can I bring you in, please, sir?
Yeah, good evening, madam. It's a very good presentation. I'm familiar with Tamil Nadu environment of both rural and urban. See, I got 3 points, madam. First one is, you said that the household environment in rural and urban, there is no much difference. But normally it is expected there is a difference. As per your one of the point analysis, 91% of the samples household environment are having facilities. How it is, how it can be understood. That's the point one, madam.
Can I
Yes,
answer
yes.
this? And
Yes, yes. One by one we'll go in.
Yes, sir. Sir, we have conducted this study in Tiruchirappalli, Madurai, and Sivagasi districts, sir.
Okay.
And in these districts, we have selected only 105 sample, and we have only studied the home atmosphere as well as the school atmosphere. Only these 105 sample only. So we didn't find any difference, sir. Majority of these sample household have basic communities, that they have separate bathroom.
Right. But in general, we always focus on rural because we cannot expect such an access or the facilities in a rural in general.
Sir,
Maybe
that is
Tamil
what
Nadu
I
as
saw,
a specialist, okay. The second point, madam.
Yes,
Second
sir.
point. See, based on your experience,
Mm.
do you feel that you missed a few questions to ask parents in the checklist, your tool itself?
We missed to ask questions.
You feel it after doing the survey?
Sir, no, not like that.
Because their IDs, definitely not. You can't compare with normal girls. Their protection or the guidance from the parents, particularly the mother, is more important. Probably if you would have added a few questions on the role of parents in the question your survey tool itself, probably it would have enhanced your quality of the study. This is only just my observation.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Actually, we just wanted to find out the status, existing status.
Okay.
That is why we have not included that, sir.
So probably future you can.
Yes, your suggestion is very well accepted, sir. Definitely in our future study, if we have plans to work out on that, like we have just found out the existing status. Okay. And that too particularly, sir, actually, I actually skipped to mention that this particular study was conducted during the time of COVID.
Okay.
So actually, we had a very big limitation of that. Okay. Definitely, like this study was sanctioned in the first wave, and between first wave and the second wave, we went to the their place. We actually we cannot say that these facilities are available at their home.
Okay.
School, it is okay, but home, definitely without visiting, how can we say so? So we had all those limitations. So like that is why we have restricted ourselves only to 105 sample. So these are the limitations of our study. So if we happen to continue this in future, definitely we will consider all your suggestions, and the suggestions incorporated, the suggestions presented by Karapasamy sir also, we will try to incorporate all those things in our study, and we will definitely come out. And in our future study, we are planning to go for intervention. And I don't know, like when we go for intervention,
Yes.
I'm sure I cannot do with this all these quantitative things. Definitely, I have to go with qualitative only. So
my last point, madam. I am familiar with your study area, entire Tamil Nadu. Though I'm talking from Hyderabad, but I am very familiar with the Tamil Nadu traditions, culture, environment, everything there. Now, in view of disability acts like UNCRPD and the latest rights of persons with disability act of 2016, now ownership has shifted to the family and the community. What is the role you are expecting in the future studies? Whether you want to cover that when you are talking about the facility or the environment, the family and community should take the responsibility. So that is known as your community-based rehabilitation. Do you having some sort of a provision in your future studies for just following the provisions given in the disability acts?
yes, sir, definitely, sir. How can we skip, sir? Community part. See, actually, that is what I also mentioned, that community support is very much needed, no, sir. See, when I mentioned about lack of manpower, is it not, sir? If we get some voluntary support from the community, then definitely that can be overcome, is it not, sir? So definitely community support is must. And also, Dr. Jayanti ma'am also rightly pointed out that even though children, they are ready to come and attend school, parents, due to the other factors related to the maintaining that healthy practice, and like as they get stained and all those things, they want their children to stay back at home. So naturally, family, they also have to be educated like we have educated, and they have to get confidence that my child will be taken care by the school authorities in this and this way. So that is very much needed, no, sir. So how we cannot skip family and community participation. That is very,
because you have indicated that there is a lack of manpower and everything. See, once you are involved in the community and the other public utilities like schools, PHC, healthcare centers, or Anganwadi centers, and everything, because they're already working under government. So anything, something, a provision or an orientation, probably it can reduce your manpower capacity, problems.
yes, sir, definitely.
That is the reason I said that give the ownership to the community or the family. Maybe because as a researcher, as a professional, so we can't continuously work with the group.
Yes,
so we have to work, orient, sensitize, train the parents and the community. You have to hand over the ownership to them. Then only it can have the sustainability. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your suggestion.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your interesting observations there, which I'm sure are going to be very helpful as Dr. Devi moves forward with her work. So thank you for that.
Sure.
I think we're coming towards the end of our time now. So but just to remind you, Rajesh does an excellent job of posting these sessions up there. They've all been recorded, and maybe I'll ask him in a minute just to make sure everybody knows how to access these. And I'm going to hand back to Rajesh in a second, but would just like to finish by saying thank you very much to Dr. Devi. It's been a very worthwhile session. We've had excellent attendance today, about 70 people in all, which is good. This organisation is going from strength to strength, and that's largely because of the quality of the presentations that we're having at these monthly seminars. So can I thank you again, Dr. Devi, for your contribution to this today, and I hope we will hear from you again in the future. So now I'm going to hand back to...
Thank you so much, Professor, for giving me an opportunity to present our study and this enlightened forum. Thank you so much. Looking forward for many more collaborations. Thank you so much to the entire forum for giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if there's anybody else out there who would like to present, I'm sure that Rajesh would like to hear from you so that we can continue to develop this program. So Rajesh, I'm going to hand over to you to conclude today's proceedings, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Richard, you just mentioned that if there is anybody else who's having something interesting to present, in contact Rajesh. Recently, I attended the book launch on multiple sclerosis by Dr. Farida Raj, first Indian book on multiple sclerosis. And this is one of the 21 disabilities in our 2016 Act. And it is a wonderful piece. And she's like us, a special educator, but she has written it from the point of view of a common man rather than a medical expert advising. So when I read it, it is like, it tells me a lot about that condition and what I should be doing, kind of. So if she could be slotted somewhere, I don't know if she's present. In the beginning, I saw her. Right now, if she is part of the group, I don't know. She is part of us. Is she there in the group? I don't know. But if she could be given a slot to talk about multiple sclerosis sometime,
Thank you.
that will be a wonderful presentation. Yeah.
Perhaps, Janti, you could make sure that Rajesh has her contact details. That would enable us to move that one forward, I think.
She's part of our group, so Rajesh has the contact.
Okay. Farida Raj madam had shared me the snippets of her study which she published in the newspaper. So I think
she did. Okay.
Definitely slot out, madam, and accordingly we'll make the slot
Great.
available.
I'm not seeing her in the participants right now.
Oh, she actually left, ma'am. She said by 7:45 she has some other commitment.
Oh, okay.
So we'll definitely slot out our presentation.
We'll all be educated by that, I feel. So sometime if you could slot that out. Thank you, Richard. I just wanted to say it when you said if there is anybody more who volunteer.
Thank you.
And she'll be happy to do, I'm sure, because of public awareness information she has. She's a journalist also on all these disability related and anything to do with public interest. Yeah, she writes. So yeah, Rajesh, we will get it done. Thank you. And Renuga, once again, wonderful presentation. You have given the measurements now. It's like a tailor measurement. What next, that you have to do, and you also have plans of intervention. And I think it should continue. You just know the kind of situation analysis you have done in a small sample. So now you will know what next to do. Any help any of us could do in any manner with your study further on this, on behalf of all of us, I'm offering that we'll be happy to support you in this very important topic that we are talking about. Thanks so much. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh, as usual, for your organizing capacity. Amazing you are. One day you will go into Guinness Book of World Records for the number of IIRN ones that you have organized all the way through. Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, we have come to the end of this series 2.9, and the next series will be 3.0. So we'll meet for that series. And thank you very much, Dr. Renuga Devi, madam, for a wonderful and comprehensive presentation today. I would like to put gratitude to Professor Richard sir and Jyoti madam, Member Secretary Dr. Himanshu sir, the SASR office students and the entire member, the DIPET students and staff. So please do join us for the next webinar, that is 3.2 on 28th June 2024. So till then, stay safe, keep healthy. See you next month on 28th June 2024. Bye-bye from me.
Thank you, Rajesh, for your support extended in this presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye, all of you. Have a good night. Bye.